Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amrutangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real. Lead us from ignorance to illumination. Lead us from death to immortality. Om. Peace, peace, peace be unto all. Om Prapanna Parijataya Totra Vetraika Panaye Gnanamudraya Krishnaya Gita Duhe Namaha. Sarvopanishado Gavo Dogdha Gopalanandanaha Partho Vatsa Sudhir Bhokta Dugdham Gitamritam Mahat Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Paramananda Madhavam. Before we start, I want to make a small remark about this last verse. Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Paramananda Madhavam. I salute Lord Krishna, who is Paramananda, of the nature of bliss. And then he tells something very interesting. He makes the dumb very eloquent. And he makes even a lame person cross over the highest mountains. This is what in Bengali, Sakali Tomari Ichha, Ichha Maye Taratumi. Kare Dauma Brahmapado, Kare Koroma Adhogami. Mother, everything is through your will. Whatever is being done is done through your will. So some people you elevate to the position of a Brahma, and some people you degrade them to the lowest category. This is very important because this is what is called grace. We are praying for the grace of the Lord. Without the grace of the Lord, we cannot understand anything. Even the slightest understanding cannot come without the grace of God. That is very important. That's why we pray 24 hours. O Lord, please bestow your grace and give me the understanding. And the whole Gayatri mantra is nothing but a prayer for this grace. Grant me that grace so that I can understand. And once I understand, all problems will be solved. Without the grace, nothing can happen. Let people talk that you study the scriptures, you practice meditation, you do anything. Nothing is going to happen unless there is God's grace. In fact, can you practice meditation? You know, Totapuri's story, Sri Ramakrishna's story, life of Sri Ramakrishna, illumines our understanding so much. His Guru, Totapuri Maharaj, what was he following? The path of knowledge. What is the path of knowledge? I can do everything. I am the Atman, I can do everything. And he had progressed enormously. He could enter into Samadhi. But a time had come when he could not meditate even for a second. He got disgusted. He wanted to commit suicide. And he could not commit suicide because the mother did not give permission. To commit suicide, one requires the grace of God. If you are really contemplating committing suicide, better pray to the Divine Mother. Please allow me to die. Only then only it is possible. Yes, that is the truth. How do we know that he did not accept the grace of God? Well, here is very interesting, you know. If you are thinking about the impersonal aspect of God, called Brahman, don't expect any grace. Because he has no eyes, no ears, so he can't hear you, he can't see you. You go on praying, you have got freedom to pray. But he will not hear, he will not see. And he wants to give something. He has no hands. Therefore, how is he going to give you? He is everywhere, so he has nothing to give. Difficult idea. Prayer can never be done to the impersonal aspect of God. Prayer can be done only to one being. Who is that? Ishvara. Ishvara means what? Vedantic terminology called Ishvara is equivalent to Brahma or Vishnu or Shiva or Devi. This is what we call Ishvara. You can pray because he has got ears and he has knowledge. All these qualifications we are talking about belong to the Ishvara. His grace is needed. Totapuri came, he never went into the Divine Mothers. Can you understand the implications of that statement? Suppose it is not Divine Mother's temple. Suppose it is Vishnu temple. Will he go? Shiva temple. Will he go? No. He is willing to go to the hotel to take food, but not willing to go to any temple and bow down. That means he did not accept Ishvara as worthy of his worship. Not knowing his body belongs to Ishvara, his mind belongs to Ishvara, and he cannot do anything unless Ishvara is very gracious to him. It took him 11 months to understand the lesson that without the Divine Mother's grace, Ishvara's grace, nothing can be done. All the progress this person had made only because of the grace of the Divine Mother or Ishvara. You can call, Vishnu, Shiva, Devi, whatever you call it. Divine Mother means, don't bring the idea of gender there. Means Ishvara, a God, a creator who has created this whole world. So he learned his lesson because of the grace of the Divine Mother, but in the form of the company of Sri Ramakrishna. That was what we are studying, the great master's life. What I wanted to bring here, Sri Ramakrishna had made certain statements about Bhagavad Gita. And one of the most interesting statements he ever made. What is the essence of Gita? Any one of you recollect it? Yeah, he says, what is the essence? You reverse the word Gita. It becomes Tagi. Tyaga. Tagi means Tyaga. Tyaga means renunciation. What is to be renounced? Ask yourself, what is to be renounced? Usually, our limited understanding, you renounce the world. Alright. After, suppose you renounce the world, where do you stay? And who renounces the world? It is your mind which renounces the world. And the mind belongs to world or God? It belongs to the world. Your body belongs, worldly means what? Body belongs to whom? Yes. And if body belongs to the world, mind belongs to whom? Can the mind stay without the body? All the ideas you have in your mind is because of body or because of the mind. So suppose there is no body. Can the mind stay?
But in the dream, the body is not there, but still the mind is there.
Very good. You are studying Vedanta, you are remembering things. But where from did it get all those ideas?
From the body.
Only during the waking state, whatever experiences we have, that becomes stored up in the form of thoughts, vrittis. And it is those vrittis with which we are dealing during the dreaming state. But in dreamless state, minimum amount of body, minimum amount of mind is there. Means very little. And that is why that is also a state of ignorance only. Deep sleep is a state of ignorance. You go to deep sleep and come back, there is no change in you. Before also you were miserable. Now also you are miserable. In fact, you feel more misery, like coming out of air-conditioned room into in the month of April, May in New Delhi. And this mind belongs to the world. And this world belongs to whom? To the Divine Mother. So what is it that you are going to renounce? When Sri Ramakrishna says renounce, what do you mean by that renunciation? Even attachment and detachment belong to whom? They are ideas in the mind. That's why in deep sleep, do you have attachment or detachment? What do you have there? It is a state of the mind. Then what does Sri Ramakrishna mean? What does he mean? He means you practice spiritual disciplines. What does it mean to practice spiritual? What is spiritual discipline? Only one thing. In this whole universe, according to Vedanta, there are only two things. One is called Sat, another is called not asat. Let me come to that. That is the whole point we are going to discuss it. One is called sat, another is called mithya. Sat and asat. The words are correct, but the meaning is not correct. Sat we can understand. And what is the meaning of asat? That is where this particular verse we are going to discuss today, it will clarify it. Unless we understand this verse properly, we can't understand what Sri Ramakrishna is trying to tell. But let me come to the Sri Ramakrishna statement. What does he mean, renunciation? Renounce your ignorance so that whatever you see will be nothing but God. What is it that exists? Whether I see it, I hear it, I taste, I touch, I smell. This is called world. This world is nothing else but God. To illustrate this point, Advaita Vedanta gives the classical example. Here is a man walking in semi-darkness. What does he see? A snake. Somebody comes and tells it, you are seeing a snake is called asat. You should be able to see sat, which is called rope. Renounce the asat and accept the sat. I will just dwell upon this because it's such an important idea. When a person is experiencing the snake, any number of times you tell that it is not a snake, it is a rope. He will not be able to grasp it at all. Because so long as there is semi-darkness, he will continue seeing the snake only. And he will try to beat it also. All those things. But what does the Vedanta say? It doesn't say, see the rope. It doesn't say, kill the snake. It says only one thing. Yes. Remove the darkness, bring light. That is what Sri Ramakrishna meant. That bring the light means what? Then you see everything as nothing. There is no snake. And so as soon as the idea of snake goes away, along with that goes something so wonderful, What is the idea that comes along with snake? Two ideas. First comes fear. And fear of what? Fear of what? No. Fear of death. Fear of death. What is fear of death? Fear of death is, I am now, but I will not be in future. And it is so natural, so instinct with us, we never want not to be. We always want to be. So anything that harms that one, we want to get rid of it. So any threat of death or injury, all this. So we want to be immortal. That's so natural with us. And so seeing the snake brings two things. The first thing is it brings intense misery. And it brings misery in the form of what? Fear. Fear of what? Death. Death means what? I am not going to be and I want to be. And this is such a wonderful idea. We have to again and again dwell upon it. We naturally accept certain things, even in this world of mithya, and naturally reject certain things. Even though we experience both, what is called our worldly experience means, it doesn't consist of one thing only. It consists of two things. What is it? Good and evil. Happiness and unhappiness. Auspicious and inauspicious. This is the nature of the world. But we always prefer to have only one side. What is it? If there is pain, we naturally, instinctively reject it. But if it is pleasure, what do? We never want it to come to an end. And we never think. One of our Swamis was telling, I am deeply worried why I am so happy. Yesterday I was happy. Today I am happy. Tomorrow also I am going to happy. What is wrong with me? Why I am so happy? Will anybody worry about it? But the opposite, we always worry. Why? Because that is not our nature. Whatever is our nature, we accept instinctively. So life is a very natural thing. Happiness is a very natural thing. And knowledge is a very natural thing. So let me add a few words here about knowledge. The moment you say knowledge, we are not talking about knowledge of science, knowledge of scriptures, knowledge of anything. We are simply, I am talking about awareness. So what is this awareness? How do I know I am? If I am not aware, will I know whether I exist or not? Will you have fear of death when you are in deep sleep or under anesthesia? Under anesthesia one can be cut to pieces and we are not worried at all. But the moment we are aware, so whether we are happy or unhappy, healthy or unhealthy, whether what we are experiencing is good or evil, it becomes good or evil, happy, unhappy only when we are aware of it. That existence I am and I am aware I am, these two are common things. We are always experiencing this, I am and I am aware that I am. This is always, they go together. The problem comes with the third what you call statement. What is called? Ananda. Sat, Chit, no problem. Ananda, big problem. I don't want ever to lose the Ananda. All our worldly experience has got something to do not with existence, not with awareness, only with experience of happiness or bliss, what we call. Unending happiness is called bliss, and that which comes and goes is called happiness. This is the difference. Ananda and Sukha, this is the difference. You have to be very careful about it. All our life, what is it we are trying to be? Happy. Now, let me add something very interesting here. When I am in deep sleep, am I worried about my existence? Am I worried about happiness? Why? What is the nature of deep sleep? Not being aware. Only when awareness comes, you don't think whether I am existing or not. With full awareness, would you say, I am non-existent? Would you ever think like that? What is the nature of existence? I am aware. When I am aware, I know I am existent. Because if anybody says, I am aware, I do not exist, denies, even to say I do not exist, he has to, otherwise who is going to tell? This is the problem we are having. We want to move from lower happiness to higher happiness. Two aims in life, not merely happiness, but two expressions of happiness. We know what they are. I want always continuously to be happy, but I also want to move from a lower happiness to a higher happiness. That is what is called evolution. The more we evolve physically and mentally, the higher type of happiness we do experience it. And that is also incidentally called, you call it an ideal life or higher type of existence, whatever name you give, it means constantly we want to go towards that state where happiness is better and better in quality. Unending, higher type of happiness. This is the goal in life. That Vedantic statement, our life is like the rope and the snake. And those who have brought the light, they have absolutely no fear. That means what? No fear of death. So what is the reference we are talking about? What is Sri Ramakrishna telling? Give up the idea that the whole world is a snake. Come to know that is nothing but rope. In this analogy, what is the rope? That I am the Atman. And what is the snake? I am the body and mind. That is called worldliness. There is no world other than body and mind. It is a very important point, note down. Because Sri Ramakrishna, when he lived, where was he living? Oh, no. Yes, in this world. Yeah. Where was Ramana Maharshi living? In this world. And all the great saints and sages whom we revere as enlightened souls, where were they living? In this world only. Even though they were living in this world, we are also living in this world. Are we living in the same world? They are not living in this world. Where are they living? They are living in God. Do you see the point? Okay, let me explain it to you. I am living in this world. I am now in this room. I see this table as an example. What do I see? It is a piece of furniture made out of wood. If you ask Sri Ramakrishna, let him sit here, and then is he sitting right now here or not? Is he sitting or not?
Yeah.
Who is Swami Dayatmananda? Yes, really not fun. For you, this is an individual. But if Sri Ramakrishna were to ask, who is Swami Dayatmananda? What do you think he will say? He will say, this is God who is sitting. And how many gods can be there? The God called Sri Ramakrishna is sitting outside, and the God called Swami Dayatmananda is sitting here, and one God is scratching the back of the another God. Do you think that is the idea? For them, whatever they see, means whatever they experience, is nothing but God. This is called spirituality. This is called sainthood. He who sees the Atman everywhere, and nothing but the Atman, they are called the realized souls or saints or spiritual persons, whatever name you give. This is called the kingdom of heaven. This is called Vaikuntha. By the way, we all use the word Vaikuntha. What is Vaikuntha? Where Lord Vishnu lives is called Vaikuntha. Where Lord Vishnu lives is called Vaikuntha. What is the meaning of Vishnu? He who is everywhere. He who is everywhere lives in a particular location called Vaikuntha. No, our idea, I want to go to Vaikuntha. And easy way, very easy way to go to Vaikuntha. Vaikuntha Ekadashi, you go to Tirupati, there is one special door. And if you go through that door, it is assured that after death you will go to Vaikuntha. In this connection, let me recollect the Sri Ramakrishna had a wonderful woman devotee called Gopalarma. For 2 months, continuously, she was beholding Gopala, baby Krishna. You heard about it? Gopalarma? Continuously she was seeing Gopala. Oh, now Gopala is on my shoulders. Now he is crawling. Now he wants to eat butter and all those things. So then Sri Ramakrishna saw her condition and said, now her mind is in Goloka. Her mind is in Goloka. Goloka means what? Where Bhagavan Krishna lives. That is called Goloka. What does he mean? All of us can see that that lady is here in India, in Calcutta. And Sri Ramakrishna is now she is in Goloka. That means what? Her mind is in Goloka. What does Sri Ramakrishna mean? Her mind is in Goloka. What does he mean? He means she is seeing nothing but her Krishna everywhere and all the time. What is Vaikuntha? To see Ishvara in the form of Vishnu everywhere is called Vaikuntha. For a Shiva Bhakta, to see Lord Shiva everywhere all the time is, what is it called? Kailasa. And for a Devi Bhakta, to see the Divine Mother everywhere all the time, it is called going to Devi Loka. These are Madhur Babu passed away, and Sri Ramakrishna had a vision that a chariot had come and has come. So, what is the idea? If God is everywhere, can there be anyone else? Can there be anybody else? This is the idea we want to grasp very clearly. If God alone God is everywhere, means He is infinite. If He is infinite, then what is everything? It must be also be nothing but God only. That is the called realization of God, to know that only one thing exists, one thing is, and that is called God, and there is nothing else excepting God. That experience is called, whatever name you give, kingdom of heaven or paradise, whatever name you give, that is called spirituality. Is it clear? Point is clear. The body, of course, is an impediment. But if the mind is constantly thinking about, say, Lord Vishnu, where is that person now? For a person, Prahlada, the story. Prahlada is beholding Lord Vishnu, Narayana, everywhere, isn't it? So when his father Hiranyakashipu asked him, where is your so-called Narayana? I am searching for him everywhere. What was Prahlada's reply? Where is he not? You show me where he is not, I will show you where he is. So he is everywhere. If he is everywhere, can you see him? I am trying to convey the idea, if God is everywhere, there is no place for anything else. There is no human being, there is no table, there is no carpet, everything is nothing but God only. You reverse now this idea. What is the idea? We read about this statement, God exists. God exists means He only exists. He is everywhere and He is everything. Now come back to this and say, if God alone exists and He is everything, then everything must be God only. How to elevate from our normal, this is not God and this is not God and the other thing is not God. Slowly we try to see, have this real vision by expanding our idea about God. How do we do it? First you go to the shrine room and say, Lord, you are here. Then you expand it and say, so you see the same God in Father, in Mother, in a teacher, in an ashrama, in a temple, in a holy place, in a holy book, and slowly expand until a time will come, everything we behold as nothing but God only. Is it possible? Yes, that is the only thing that is possible. Anyway, we are beholding everything. In fact, we are also beholding God in a particular way. I will tell you how. If you see anything, what is the first understanding that comes to you? Say, you see a table. What is the first thing that you come? You don't think about it. The table is. Can you see a table if the table is not? So, that is what is the common thing? There is a table. Here is a carpet. Here is a man. Here is a woman. Here is a book. Anything is. What is common? Everything else is uncommon. The name, the form, the qualities, everything is separate from each other. But is, that is common, isn't it? When we say God is everywhere, in which form He is everywhere? In the form of is existence. That is why this most beautiful analysis, first you divide the whole universe into certain categories. Now what is the first category that we do? Living and non-living. What is the second category? Between the living, we make a category that this is a plant and this is an insect and this is a bird, this is an animal, this is a human being, roughly. And among the human beings, we also categorize it as a man and woman. Then among them we get, this is an Indian, this is a non-Indian. And this is, goes on, this is my family and this is not my family, etc., etc. How to spiritually look upon this so that we can progress. Progress in spirituality. How does it appear? First you say that all the people are categorized into only two, men and women. And then you say, men and women, what is common between men and women? Both have got prana, life. So then there is no difference between man and woman. Then if you take prana as the unit of our measurement, what is the difference between an animal and a bird and an insect and a plant? That means every living, that is why we use the word Sanskrit word, beautiful, prani. Prani means what? One which has got life. So this is how spiritual vision is expanded, and that is why it is called upasana. And then you say, what is common, what is now the division? Those things with life and those without life, like mountains, like rivers, and the earth, and the water, and the air, and the fire, and the space, etc. Okay? Now what is the difference between these two? One is with life, another is without life. Then, but this chit and achit, there is still a difference. What is common to both? Chit also exists, achit also exists. If you say God is everything, then you can't say God is only in the chit. means that which has life, and that which doesn't seem to be seemingly not having life, you have to divide God into two and say you don't exist in Achit. And that is doing violence. That means you are cutting God into two. You have to say that whatever exists is God. That is the meaning of Vishnu. Everything, whatever existing. And how do you know? Whatever I experience is existing. And whatever is existing, only I can experience. That is how you have to look upon the whole universe. This is called gradual expansion of the mind. Means what? Expansion means what? It is not an intellectual idea. It is identifying this what I call I with this I am a man. Now what is identity? Only this particular body is me. Then what is next? All men. I am a human being. So I am identifying myself with all the human beings. Then I identify myself with all men and women. Then I identify myself with everything that is living. Then I identify myself with everything is not only living, but whatever is existing, I identify myself. Now I will come to a very important point. This expansion happens through a particular process, and that process is called upasana. Upa-asana. You understand the word? Upa means near. Asana means no. Asana means to feel the presence of something. So upasana means meditation. In simple, plain English language. I am talking about Sanskrit. Upasana means upa-asana. As though God is, you kept God on an asana, and I am nearer to Him. I feel His presence nearer to me. He means He, or Vishnu, or Jesus Christ, Buddha, or Divine Mother, Shiva, anybody. That is called upasana. So the whole puja, in other words, what we say when we say puja, that is the meaning of upasana. Puja, upasana, meditation, these are all synonymous terms, no difference at all. So I try to feel, then what do I do? How do I expand my mind? You say, first of all, I have to make an image of God. So I make image out of certain materials, like what? Wood or metal, or it could be anything, plastic, picture, icon, anything, a symbol, is it not? You see the point? Now, very important idea. I am walking in a park, and a tree had fallen, and that trunk or whatever it is, it is lying there. What do? I can sit upon it, and I can do many things with it. I can, put my signature there. I can etch something, some message there, the people do it. All that I do. And then I can spit upon it. I can do whatever I like. But supposing a carpenter comes, takes out that piece of wood and makes it into the shape of either Krishna or Jesus or whatever it is, and then, or a piece of stone, in a river, and then I feel like worshipping God, and I buy that piece of wood. Now, that piece of wood, I will give up my life if somebody desecrates it, is it not? That is how temples or whatever, how dare you desecrate my God? Nobody can desecrate God. But our idea is we feel that God only through certain medium. And if anybody insults that medium, I get very angry. Is it not? But no, that's not my point. My point is that piece of wood, which was only piece of wood or a metal, now has become so sacred. So my vision has expanded. This is God. So with this idea, it could be tulasi. You take a few leaves of tulasi or bilwa, or you take certain little bit of water. You call it Ganga water, Yamuna water, whatever water you call it. Just my question to you, what about Thames water? Would you consider it sacred? What is the water we are using for puja here? Thames water. But it's not Thames water. We sprinkle a few drops of Ganges water. And in puja, there are certain system is there. What is that system? We establish something called Samanyargya, a small kosha kushi, a vessel like that in this shape. and then pour water. Which water? Thames water. Mixed, of course, with a few. And to make doubly sure that it is sacred, we put our finger there. Om Gange cha Yamune chaiva Godavari Saraswati Narmade Sindhu Kaveri Jale Asmin Sannidhim Kuru. All the 7 rivers I invoke there. What is the idea? This is not water, this is sacred water. And the word sacred belongs to whom? Only to one being. That is God. Because this water purifies me. The pure God can be worshipped only with pure things. Tulasi. What is tulasi? An animal will just eat. But you bring it and say, it is sacred tulasi. The moment you say it is sacred, that very moment, that leaf has become God. That is why they put it in South India, they put it in the ears. You know that? I am talking how we treat it. How we treat it. And that your question reminded me of an incident. When Sri Ramakrishna was at Dakshineshwar, one day a madcap had come. And Sri Ramakrishna saw, he was in such a condition, dirty condition, nobody allowed him even to come near and eat. They used to feed. So, a lot of food used to be thrown out. And beggars and others who were not allowed to sit and eat, they would be eating there. Even beggars did not allow him to stay. He was looking ferocious and so dirty and all those things, like a ghoul. Then there was a rubbish heap. Dogs were eating food. He went there, put one hand on a dog, and dog also did not mind. And then both of them started eating from that rubbish heap. Sri Ramakrishna saw it, and he was frightened. He called Hriday, and Hriday, this is not an ordinary person. He is a God-realized soul pretending to be mad. Of course, Hriday did not understand anything. It's like our foot rug, The foot rug doesn't, a sacred person comes to your home, and does the foot rug know that this is a Swamiji that comes there? Only you know that. For the foot rug, everything is a burden. So Hriday followed him, because after that he entered into the temple and he made a hymn and said, Ramakrishna, I see that the walls of the Dakshineshwar temple are shaking. Then he said, the Divine Mother was highly pleased because that was a real
spiritual person.
Praise, real stotra. And then he started walking up. Hriday started following because he believed in Sri Ramakrishna's words temporarily. And then he said, sir, you make me your disciple. And long time the description goes, he followed him and at one place he stopped. There was the sewage water flowing there. And then that madcap stopped and said, and addressing Hriday, he says, when your vision could see this sewage water and that Ganges water as equally sacred, then you have reached your goal. With this, he started walking away. Then Hriday still followed. Then that man took a brick and said, if you come any nearer, I will give you moksha. So he wanted moksha only. But he was frightened of this kind of moksha. And then he went back. This was the incident. Another incident, remember, Swami Vivekananda was in Khetri. Khetri Maharaja arranged the dance of a Nach girl. And then that lady wanted Swamiji to come. Swamiji was very young, less than 30 years old, you must remember. But he was a realized soul. First he refused. I am a monk and I cannot come and watch the Nach girls dance. And this lady was extraordinarily great lady. She started singing Surdas Bhajan. Prabhu mere avaguna chittanadharu. O Lord, do not look upon my evil qualities. This song is very, very meaningful. It says, in shrine room, in a temple, the image is made up of iron, metal. And that same metal was in the form of the knife of a butcher in a butcher shop, in the hands of a butcher. See, which one do you, who worships the butcher's knife and who worships the image? When the philosopher's stone touches either of them, Will there be any difference, or will both of them turn into gold? So, it says, look not upon, because in your eyes I am also made by you. A saint also is made by you. What is the idea? If two pieces of furniture is made, one is beautiful and one is ugly, are both of them different in nature or the same? It is exactly the same. What is the difference? In shape, in form, in utility. If you have made me, then who am I? I am also you. Because if God makes what other material He will get? If God wants to make, if you want to make, you are different, the material you make is different, and the object you make is also different, the instruments you use is also different, isn't it? Like a potter, a wheel, and a clay. Whereas if in case of God, are there three separate things? Because there is nothing besides God. So whatever is made by God, He is the maker, He is also the material cause, and He is also the instrumental cause. Instrumental cause, material cause, intelligent cause, every cause is He. So what is the table? Nothing but wood in a particular shape. What is the world? Nothing but God in a particular shape. Swamiji heard it from upstairs, and he immediately came down and said, I am a person who experienced Nirvikalpa Samadhi, so I cannot see.
And she said,
So you see, he came down. What is the idea here? The world is nothing but God, because it cannot be anything. If Atman is everything, there cannot be anything other than Atman. But what is the difference? Here is a table, it is Atman with name and form. This is the idea Sri Ramakrishna wanted to tell, that Gita means renounce. Renounce what? Renounce a wrong idea about yourself. Because if any person has correct idea about himself, his idea about the world also will change or not. When an ignorant person becomes a knowledgeable person, where is the change? In the world or in himself? And when he changes, what does he see? Does he see the world or does he see God? He sees nothing but God. When Sri Ramakrishna says, renounce, what does he mean? Renounce false knowledge, and that means learn to look upon a thing as what it is, not as what it appears to be. That is the meaning of that. That's what in this verse, nasato vidyate bhavo, na bhavo vidyate satah, ubhayorapi drushtantas tanayo tattvadarshibhihi. The unreal has no being, and there is no non-being of the real. The truth about both has been seen by the knowers of the truth, and seers who see the essence, the truth. I will explain. If we understood that introduction I have given, this verse becomes absolute. There are two things only in this world. What are two things? That which is existing, and what is the next thing? That which is, say, that is the truth. But in this world we see two things. And that is because of the nature of our mind. What is it? When you see darkness, how many things do you see? No. You can never see darkness. Outside you see darkness, inside you see light. Is it not? When you say this is a male, you means you have the idea. When you say the table is now, you means before it was not there, afterwards it is not. It will not be there. First let me explain the word, There are two words used, Sat and Asat. Sat means existence. Asat means, usually it is translated as non-existence. But nobody can talk about non-existence. How can you talk about something called non-existence? But whenever we talk about non-existence, it is always with reference to some existence object which I am not experiencing right now. Yes, you can say that. Here is a person, I see him. After some time he has gone out of this room. So he is not here. Either something is or something is not.
Non-manifested is different, isn't it, Guruji? Light, air,
never
be manifested. So that is non-existent.
We will come to that. It is exactly the same. But we have to understand it. So in this world, whatever we experience, only two things. The real and seemingly real. Real and seemingly real. So real means, what is it? We must have definitions to understand even these statements. Definition must be there. Real is that which never changes. Unreal is that which always changing. Simple example, here is a table. Here is wood and here is table. Out of this wood, say, two things are made. A chair and a table. Okay, what is real and what is unreal? To understand that concept. Here is a table. Is the table real or unreal?
Table is real. Table is unreal.
Table is unreal because what is it changed? That means what? Before it became a table, it was not there. And after some time, it won't be a table. If you burn it, it won't be a table. You call it ashes or whatever you call it. So chair also it is the same. Here is wood, and as wood, it will always be there. Is an example because wood also is. Yeah, we will go to that later on. But what I wanted to tell, there are two things. Here is a table and it is nothing but wood. But where is our sight fixed upon? Is it fixed upon the tableness of the wood or woodness of the table?
Tableness of the wood. The unreal thing.
Unreal means, this is first you remember the definition. Whatever is unchanging, never changes, that is called real. And whatever changes, this is called unreal. So what is here? Unreal, real and unreal. Real we understand. Unreal means not non-existent. Reality seen with certain filters is called unreal. What is the filter here? Wood seen through the filters of time and space is called table, chair, whatever it is. That makes it. So, when we are talking about unreal, we are not talking about non-existence. We are talking not seeing existence in its real form, but seeing it in its changeful form.
Unreal, does it also mean partial knowledge?
Yes, partial knowledge. Rather, I would say more of ignorance than partial knowledge means 50-50. Yeah. The veil, that's very important point. The veil is something is not covering the wood. Something is covering my mind. The problem is not with the table. The problem is with myself. So any amount of changing the table is not going to help us at all.
So is mind real or unreal, Guruji?
Is mind changing or not changing?
Changing. So then how can I understand a real thing with an unreal thing?
Because there must be something which is, you see, just now you hit the nail upon the right thing. When I asked you, the mind is changing, you said it is changing, isn't it? You said the mind is always changing. How did you know the mind is always changing? There must be something which is witnessing the changes that are happening in the mind. That is a point we have to discuss very, very deeply.
Is that the self? The consciousness?
Yes. The awareness in your mind which is working and it is constantly witnessing. So I was a child, I was a baby, I was a adolescent, I was a young person, now I am at this age, I will be old person. All these changes are going on. But that one I is changing. What is I? I am young, I am old. Whenever we say I am so many years, my CV, that is a changing. CV means what? A saint has got only one CV. What is that? I am Atman. All of us have got changing CVs. So when you were, say, 15 years old, were you a doctor? No. And after 10 years, you ask somebody, are you a doctor? He says, yes. Sorry? 10 years back you said, I am not a doctor. Now you say I am a doctor. You are changing your mind all the time. Be clear about it. What is changing? I was not a doctor and I am a doctor. That is changing. What is not changing? As I, there is something called I which persists all the time. And that is so difficult. So there are two I's. One is changing I, one is the witnessing I. And Bhagavan Krishna wants to tell about this witnessing I which never changes. So that is the meaning. The witnessing I is called Sat. And the changing I is called Asat. Asat. Now here is an Asat means unreal. Unreal means that which is changing. And that which is changing is unreal means it is real only, but it is being perceived by somebody as unreal. The wood is constant, but wood can become a table, and the table can become a chair, the chair can become a piece of stick, and the stick can become smaller sticks, any number of or matches they can become, anything they can become. But whatever it may become, it is only change in the nama and the rupa. What is important, Bhagavan is telling, that what we call this changing reality never changes. That is the most important point. Because if reality changes, what does it become? Unreal. And if something is unreal, it cannot be real. Do you see the argument? That's why Bhagavan never changes. This is a point we have to discuss. These few verses more until we come to the 25th of this verse. That's why I am taking time. These ideas must be driven. After that, it's just like water, of course, provided we remember what we have discussed now this. It will be there. It will be there. So what is important here, whatever we experience is only one. But we experience it depending upon our mood, either as it is or as it appears to be. Like, in the when a person is seeing a snake, what is he really seeing? Only a rope. But he thinks he is seeing a snake. And that he thinks he is seeing a snake because of what? Because of two things.
Absence of light.
One is absence of light. Another is presence of fear in his mind. Very interesting. I will give you an example, Suppose here is a person and he is living with snakes only. Plenty of snakes. In his house there are hundreds of snakes. But all the snakes are water snakes. So he is sleeping with the snakes, he is caressing the snakes crawl all over him from day to day and day night. Just imagine. And he thinks he is seeing a snake in the middle. Will he be afraid or not? Why? Because his experience of a snake is, this is only a water snake. Water snake is, it's just like he will never, even if he thinks it is a snake, he will never be frightened at all. The fright comes because we ascribe certain things to certain objects. And when we think we are seeing that particular object which causes us uncomfort, unhappiness in us. Like, you had, suppose, very good friends. And whenever you think of them or see them, you are very happy. And later on they became your enemies. And now whenever you think of them and see them, what is the idea? Even in your dream, they cause unhappiness. Is it not? So where is the change? Filters. I call it filters, Without filters, because in deep sleep, there are no filters. And that's why you have absolutely no problem. What is most important, Sat means existence, real. And Asat means not opposite of existence, non-existence. Seeming existence. That means seeming existence means what? The change in the existence is not in the existence, but it is in our perception. That is a very important point. This we will explore in our next class. What's important, I want you to remember, one point is, this so-called unreality is not there outside. It is inside our minds. Because nothing is really unreal. Nothing is really changing. Nothing changes. Matter doesn't change. You give it, like putty is a beautiful example. You give putty to your children and they make a horse and you squash it. If they squash, they are happy. If you squash, they are very unhappy. What is really changing? Is the patti, has the patti ever changed? No. I'm talking the patti, has it ever changed?
No.
Patti never changed. All that you are doing is, if you put it in this shape, you say it is a horse. If you put it in another, you say it is a lump of patti. You see the point? And you are aware of it. That's why even a child is not unhappy. Like making castles in the sand. You know that it is nothing but sand. So that's why you can afford to kick it out, so that tomorrow again you can come and do it again. Any way you want to do it. So what is the point we are making? There is nothing called opposite of existence. All that is there only existence. Existence means God, existence means Atman, existence means Brahman, and whatever you call it. But this existence, when it is perceived through our mind, then we call it a body, we call it a mind. And if you want to expand it, we call it a tree, a plant, a river, an insect, a bird, a human being, man, woman, God, everything. It is nothing but an idea in our mind. Keep this idea in your mind. We will explore it further. We have discussed in our past classes, Atma is Nityaha, Atma is Satyaha, truth, it is eternal, it is the only truth, and it is Sarvagataha, it is everywhere, it is Aprameyaha, it cannot be measured because of our sense organs cannot experience it, and he is not a doer, he is not an enjoyer, he is not an experiencer. All these ideas, we have accepted it. Now, our final topic will be today. I cannot understand. You are using all the time the word Atma, 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 and all these descriptions, I cannot understand it. I will just give what is called a small, short idea, then we will explore it further. If I don't use the word Atman, but if I use, let us say, as an example, Narayana, Vishnu, personal God. So where is Vishnu? He is everywhere. Who alone is real? Only Vishnu is real. And Vishnu is unchanging, Nirvikaraha. And Vishnu is all compassionate. Vishnu is the creator. And who can rescue me? Vishnu, etc. We are having all these ideas which we are trying to understand about the Atman already with regard to our personal God, whether you call it Vishnu or Shiva, is it not? This is why we are unable to think something impersonal. So we have to imagine that impersonal thing in the form of a personality, not because of God's problem, because of our problem. But now we have to make it real in our life. So for example, if you are walking in a dangerous place and then you see that there is a danger, if you really believe in God and God is with you, you will never be frightened. But if you are not sure God is there, then you will be really frightened. Let's say that beautiful story is there. There was a devotee and he was walking in a forest and God always talks with him and he sees. How does he know? He is not appearing, but whenever the devotee looks at the footsteps, there are two pairs of footsteps. One is his, another is God's. So one day he was walking, he had to go through a dangerous place in the forest, and the moment he entered into the dangerous place, he was able to see only one pair of footsteps. And he thought, God has given the slip. And he was cursing God. That's called thinking about God. That's called upasana. Our upasana is like that only. Why did you not give me this? I prayed to you so hard and you didn't give me this, you didn't give me that. Are you deaf? If in case you have forgotten, I am reminding you again. And he reached outside the forest. Suddenly the other pair also appeared. Then the devotee charged, what is this? So long you are nicely talking with me, and then the moment I was in danger, and you disappeared. God said, look carefully at that footsteps behind. When there was no danger, we were walking, both of us. The moment you were in danger, I took you up in my hands. That footsteps belong only to me. But now that we are out of the danger, that we are keeping. Anyway, the point is, at this moment, our mind is not capable of thinking these abstract ideas. So we have to instantaneously apply them to our personal God. what we call impersonal God, thought in our mind as personal God. What is a personal God? The impersonal aspect thought through the mind is called personal aspect. You understand now? That is how we have to think. But we have to expand it, make it real. What is real? God is the only reality. If God is the only reality, who am I? This is called establishing a relationship. If God is my father and mother, if God is Nitya, then I also must be, I cannot be Anitya. If God is everywhere, then He is with me. And if He is not changing, that means He will never become angry with me. And He is Ananda Swarupa, therefore He will be happy with whatever I do, whatever mischief I do. God will never be unhappy, because in the eyes of God, there is nothing called evil. You have to understand, this is a point which we might discuss in future. What is important is, from our point of view, there is good, there is as well as evil. From the viewpoint of God, there is nothing called evil, because it is like a cinema. In the cinema, there is somebody who is murdering, killing, torturing, killing somebody. That's why you pay money and go. And if it is not violent enough, you will not recommend it to anybody. If it is thrilling, that's what you call, thrilling. You recommend to everybody, it is excellent. And it is like opium also. The more you watch, the more violent, less violence is like tea without any masala. Tepid. It is like that. So you see the point we are talking about? Absolutely necessary to attribute all this we are listening, reading, understanding in the Gita class to our personal aspect of God. And then establish a relationship. That is called upasana. Upasana means what? Upa-asana. God is sitting there. There is fire. The nearer I move to the fire, the more warmth I get. That means the nearer I approach the fire, I also get the quality of the fire. So if someone touches me when I am in the presence of the fire, that person also gets the warmth. That means if I am meditating upon God, then I must get the qualities, at least in the mind. So this change of vision, there is nothing unreal, but what I am perceiving is as unreal is because of the medium of perception, and that is called spiritual progress. That means what? Even after realization, the table doesn't disappear. But now that either happiness or unhappiness associated with the object, it will be removed, because my vision previously it was nama and rupa, name and form. Now it will be upon the original matter. This original matter never changes. So in this 16th verse, what Bhagavan wants to say is there are only two things, real thing and seemingly real thing. All our problems stem not from the real thing, but from the seemingly real thing. Because seemingly real thing always changes. Changes means what? At one point it is good, another point it is not good. At one point it is happiness, at another point it is unhappiness. We are happy or unhappy because of this vision, not because really something is changing. How to gain that vision back, how to remove the filters, that is called spiritual practice. That is what Sri Ramakrishna meant by saying that renounce the unreal. Means there is no real unreality to renounce. Renounce the seemingly real thing, that is called unreal. And then when we renounce, there is only one thing, which is real. And then you will be free from the fear of death, fear of losing something, fear of being unhappy, suffering, fear of ultimately birth and death. That is called eternal bliss. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.